Hey guys, welcome back to Geek. Today's video is a Project 100 Uses update. I'm pretty excited because I got to 100 uses on two things this time. Pretty excited about that. And I did start this project based on Too Much Tosh's 100 Club. I will link her in the description box. I'm picking powder makeup products, things I know I'll never finish or hit pan on, like eyeshadow palettes, face palettes, that sort of thing, and trying to get to 100 uses, and obviously using it beyond that, but I don't keep track past 100. If you are new, please subscribe. I normally upload 4 videos a week, but December, Geek Miss daily videos in December. And I like to do a combination of old and new makeup. So I do a lot of Project Pan Shop My Stash videos as well. And yeah, let's get started. I do have my Santa mug again today. I love this so much. I bought it at Target. It's amazing. All right, let's start with the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. And this is still my newest palette, even though I've ordered palettes recently, but they're not here yet. And I've only used this 9 times, but you know, wanted to give you an update on this one. I really like it. I bought it just in November at the Sephora sale, and it's lovely. I recently did a get ready with me with this palette for Geek Miss. It's beautiful. Okay, there's kind of a lot of Natasha Denona in this update. Next up is the Retro palette, and I've used this 27 times, which is interesting because I hit pan. And I've used this eyeshadow pretty much every time I've used this palette, which is why I think I hit pan on it. I was definitely surprised though, because I've said in other videos, I don't try to hit pan on eyeshadows anymore. If I do, great, but that was pretty unexpected. But yes, I've used this palette 27 times. It's definitely one of my favorites. Like I said, there's a lot of Natasha Denona in this update. The purple blue palette, I've used this 33 times. And this is one that recently I've been trying to use more because this is an older palette. I've had this for well over 2 years. It's beautiful. I love it. So I've used it a couple times this month and I want to try to use it more because it's so expensive. But earlier this year, I did get to 100 uses on the green brown palette that I have. The gold palette, you know, this is one that I'm surprised I haven't used this more. I've only used it 17 times, which is definitely surprising. I've had this one also for about 2 years. I bought a lot of Natasha Denona palettes in 2020 and pretty sure this was one of them. So yeah, got to get more use on this one. And I always say in every update that if I just use one eyeshadow all over the lid and like something else in the crease, that counts as one use for this palette. Or if I use 7 eyeshadows to do an entire look, that still counts as one use for that palette. Next up is the Sunrise palette, and I have used this one 45 times. This is one that I've also had for a while. I think I've had this one longer than all of the other Natasha Denona palettes I have. So I've had this one for I think like 2.5 years. I actually really do like this color story. I've said before, I feel like that maybe the quality on this one isn't quite as smooth as some of the other palettes by her. But this is more, for me, this is more like a spring palette. So I don't think I've used it recently, but I have used it 45 times. Okay, next up is the bronze palette, and this one I've used 53 times. I promise there are other brands in this video. I'm just getting all of the Natasha Denona out of the way. So yeah, 53 uses on this one. I really like this one. This is one of my favorites. I mean, I will often use like one of these dark browns on the lower lash line or the outer corner. And yeah, this is a good palette. I really, really love this one. Okay, let's talk about some other brands. Charlotte Tilbury, the Pillow Talk palette. I have used this 18 times. I definitely need to use this one more because I've had it since the very beginning of this year. I really enjoy this one. I do. I like these larger Charlotte Tilbury palettes. I think they're really good. I prefer them over the formula of the quads. So I need to pull that one out soon. And then another Charlotte Tilbury product. This is a face palette. This is the Nudegasm face palette. And I have used this 45 times. And I love this one. I'm actually wearing the bronzers today. They're really nice. This is a really, really good face palette. Definitely one of my favorites. And I have gotten to 100 uses on a lot of my face palettes. I actually, at this point, I don't have any other face palettes in this project. Maybe I should add some in, because that brings me to the 2 palettes that I did get to 100 uses on, which is very exciting. And the first one is a face palette from Ofra. It is the Island Time palette. And you might laugh when you see, when you see this, because I realize this looks like I have not used it 100 times. It probably doesn't even look like I've used it 15 times. But these are so pigmented. Both the highlighter and the blushes are very pigmented, and there's like no kickback. So you barely need to tap your brush into these. The 2 shades I've used the most, definitely this one and this one, but I mean, I've used all 5. I've used the highlighter. Yeah, I've used this over 100 times. I know, it's crazy, but it's a really, really pigmented palette. I definitely think that is an interesting thing about this project, is that you really see that even using something 100 times, which would be, if you used it every single day, that's over 3 months of use straight. And I only have pan on one of these palettes. Yeah, it takes a long time to use up powder products. So the last item, and I did get to 100 uses on the Charlotte Tilbury Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette, which was the holiday palette from, I think, 2020. I'm pretty sure it was 2020. And yes, this one is beautiful. I love it so much. Again, I feel like this one, it's also very reflective. It's hard to see. This is one where I have pretty evenly used like all of the colors. Like sometimes I'll put this on the lower lash line. Sometimes I do this on the outer corner. Or some of these lighter shades I like to do for inner corner highlights. So it really kind of depends how I use this palette. And yeah, a lot of these palettes I don't always do an entire look with. I will use like just lower lash line, or sometimes I do an entire look with them. It just kind of depends. I like to change up my palettes and make sure that I'm rotating through all of them. I have a lot, well over 100, so that's why I'm doing this project. And this is what I do instead of like a pan that palette or pan those eyeshadows. I just want to get usage on my eyeshadow palettes. But as you can see, I do have face palettes in this. But yeah, right now the only face palette left is that one from Charlotte Tilbury. So I got to 100 uses on the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize, and also on the Ofra Island Time palette, which I'm pretty pumped about that. And also every update, I don't update on every item in this project. There's twice as many eyeshadow palettes in this project right now. Actually, I think more than that. So I don't update on every one at every update, but yeah, pretty excited. And I need to put more face palettes in this project. I gotta do that. So yeah, but I haven't really, the reason I haven't really is that I haven't bought any face palettes. That Charlotte Tilbury face palette, I'm pretty sure is the last face palette I bought, and I bought it over a year ago. So yeah, I just felt like I wasn't getting use on my face palettes as much as I would like. I like the ones I have, so I try to be picky about buying them, because sometimes you only end up using 1 or 2 of the shades. And so yeah, I only want to buy face palettes if I'm going to use every shade. So yay, got to 100 uses on both of these. I'm pretty excited about it. I really enjoy this project. I really, really do. I just want to use these products because these are like ultimate favorite products, high-end products, obviously. There's a lot of Natasha Denona in this project, but and I also do have my McGrath palettes, but I just haven't used them lately as much as I wish I had. So anyway, that is it for this video. So if you've missed any of the Geekmas videos, check out the Geekmas playlist, daily videos in December. And then I have a project pan playlist as well. And I am doing other project pans where I am trying to use things up completely. So yeah, also I do have a channel membership option now. So you can click the join button if you are interested in that. There are 2 tiers. The first tier is 1 bonus video a month, and then also polls, and I also include like project pan updates and just kind of other stuff. And then the second tier is additional polls and other content and a second video a month. So yeah, you can check that out if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.